Hey guys, welcome to another video. If you're into tarot, if you're into astrology, if you're into pop culture and dissecting how these have intersectionality within one another, make sure you tune in, comment, like, subscribe, do all them things. If you want to book a reading, all of the things will be included in the bottom description. And thank you guys in advance. If you're welcoming back, welcome. If you're new here, what's up? It's your girl Lex, or Lexi Gal if you're nasty, okay? Um, I'm just like trying to look at my hair because I just got it pressed. Like, if you're black and you get your hair pressed, you'll be like, girl, uh, oh my, you'd be like, girl, like, I don't even know, like, I don't, what? Like, I'd be like, I'm just so confused. Like, I can't, this is great. Like, no, I just messed up my hair. Like, this is what happened. I'm trying to look in the camera. Okay. Y'all don't mind me, y'all. Don't mind me. I'm just a girl trying to get her life together. But we're going to be talking about this Erica Mena and Safaree situation because it is just gutter snipe. It's just low class. And it's just honestly super unexpected. But like full moons are times of release. Full moons indicate a time where we need to be we need to acknowledge a situation that, or a circumstance, or behavior, or a thought pattern in which we need to release. And in this case, the full moon is in Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars, right? And Mars is in Cancer right now. So this is a highly emotionally volatile time. Like the other day, I was like, oh, the girls are on 10, especially if you're a cardinal sign. This is going to be affecting you the most. You're going to be wanting to feel wherever Aries is in your chart, that's where you're going to feel that energy the most. But especially if you are a cardinal sign, you're going to be feeling it a lot. It might feel very uncomfortable, might feel very um, just weird, might feel just you're just feeling a lot of feelings right now. And if you're not somebody that is used to feeling all of the things, it can just be very uncomfortable, right? Like I said, but this is a really, really great time of releasing. So comment down below wherever you have Aries in your chart. For me, I have Aries in my 12. The 12th house is all about the subconscious, it's about the unseen, it's about the hidden, it's about spirituality, it's about the spiritual plane, it's about self undoing. So for me, I've been having to tackle these themes a lot with, Chiron is in Aries, the North Node is in Aries. So there's just a lot of themes of like self inflicted pain, from a very wounded sense of identity. Because Chiron and Aries is all about the identity, and it's how do we identify ourselves with our pain, with our anger, and with the North Node conjoined to Chiron, it's almost like it's really emphasizing this healing energy that is taking across the collective, that's really affecting a lot of people's sense of self, their sense of identity, especially a lot of men. We've seen so many men, um, very vocal about women, about their relationships, about dynamics, about life. We've seen the rise of the incels. We've seen women, withstand and withhold marriage, withhold dating. We've seen the 4B movement. There's so many things that are going on around this time that can indicate a change, the change in our identities. Who are we outside of our relationships? South Node and Libra. How can we change? How can we express uncomfortability? How can we approach difficult conversations with our lovers, with our friends, in hopes to not only address the situation, but also acknowledge ourselves and acknowledge how we feel. So there could be a lot of difficult conversations happening right now. There could be a lot of breakups. So we've seen the breakups happening. There could be a lot of just fighting, honestly. A lot of fighting in the home. We could see a lot of like relationship dynamics shifting, for the better, for worse. We could see a lot of people improving their own sense of self-esteem, their own self-identity. I know I have, and just really being on this like self-accepting journey. And it's 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 been difficult, honestly. It's been difficult, but the difficulty and the challenges that we overcome give us our resilience, not when things are easy, not when things are fitting right, not when things are understood, but when we're in a sense of uncomfortability and uncertainty and difficulty. That's when we can show up and rise to the occasion and to rise for ourselves and to be the hero, be the warrior that we need for ourselves. And we're going to talk about that with Miss Erica. So tune into it. I didn't want to ramble too long. I just wanted to like give a brief synopsis. As you can see, I love me some astrology. I love astrology, y'all. But recently, Safaree just recently shared a video with him and Erica Mena. She came to his house and she was displaying her typical aggressive, abusive behaviors that we've seen her have and exhibit for the past 15 years, right? And it's just unfortunate because they have young children, right? And their children are at the age where they can kind of understand what's going on with mom and dad. And that's unfortunate. That is like that's nothing that any child should be subjected to, you know? That's no child should have to see their parents operate like that. No child should have to see their mother operate like that. Um, and it's just, I don't want to play the video because it's just like, oh, girl, we done seen Erica fight and holla and yell so many times. It's just like, okay. I get it. I completely get it. As somebody, I have like a lot of plutonian energy. Like I get it. Like I'm somebody who I'm like, in my past, I wanted to fight and I wanted to get aggressive and I wanted to just be bold and speak about things. But there's a way to go about situations, honestly. And when you're a mother, when you're an adult, you have to enact some form of emotional regulation, you know, especially as a woman, right? Because so many times women we're labeled as too emotional, right? But our emotions are our superpower. Our emotions indicate and can dictate trouble, right? Our intuition is directly linked to our emotions. So without our emotions, we're nothing. So when people use that as a justification to diminish women's ability, it's just simply not the case because we are so strong. We are so powerful. We are a force to be reckoned with, right? We bring life to this world, but we also have to be honest when we are causing turmoil and chaos and wreckage in our own lives and in the lives of other people, right? Not all the time. We can't all be victims of our circumstances. We can't, oh, this person did this to me and this person did this. That's the reason why I am. And I'm just, this is how I am. That's not how life works. That's not how life works. That's not going to get you the result that you think it's going to get you. And you are going to be sadly mistaken once you realize that over and over and over and over and over again. So we're going to look at their synastry. And I just want to do like a little brief synopsis because I didn't really, I just wanted to look at it more so because this happened after the full moon. And did you see what happened to Liam? Rest in peace, man. That is so sad. Rest in peace to Liam. Like I know all this come out that he's an abuser. We're not championing abusers. But I know that he struggled a lot with addiction and it's unfortunate, man. It's just really unfortunate. I really do pray that his victims have a lot of healing and they find peace within themselves because it's just so much coming out. It's the full moon in Aries, child. Aries, Mars ruled aggressive tendencies, of course, that came out during that time. But yeah, RIP to Liam. Like I know he did a lot of shit and he will never get a justification for putting his hands on people. Or I saw something that he chased somebody with an axe. Liam, what is going on? But a lot of the time that is, that is a result of somebody who has a lot of inner turmoil that they are putting onto others. And that's what we're going to be talking about with Miss Erica. But we're also going to be getting to Safaree because Safaree, and what's so interesting is that this full moon in Aries is ruled by the Mars in Cancer, and he is a Cancer sun. So Mars is on his sun right now. So right now, he could even be feeling like him putting out the video. He might have even just felt like now he could have been he might have done that just kind of impulsively, like, oh, let me just do this. Let me get back at her, right? because the sun is our vitality, it's our ego. He's feeling a lot of wounds to his ego. He's feeling a lot of wounds to his ego, and like he is supposed to be this like father figure. He's supposed to be the authoritarian. He's supposed to be this person. He wants to like cancers, they don't play about their family. Like cancers, even if it's like family that they don't really like, they're like, okay, this bitch is a little sus, but they still like they like watch your mouth when it comes to my mom. Like they can really beef it out with their mom, but if you say something about their family, they're gonna really come at you crazy. And I feel like with Safaree, it had to get to a point where he was like, enough is enough. I have to do something. Like I think he realized that Erica, she does rely on, public opinion to side with her. And it's easy to be like, oh, this nigga ain't shit. And for the world to be like, oh, baby daddy, baby daddy drama, like deadbeat dad. But I think this was just the only option for him to be like, okay, let me step into your domain, the internet, to really show how you are. But we already knew this about Erica, right? They're both toxic. Okay, they're both toxic. Um, and they're just trying to utilize leverage over one another to gain public recognition, and for the public to side with who. And honestly, I'm not siding with nobody. Both of y'all ain't right. Both of y'all ain't right, because you're putting your children at risk. You're putting your children in harm's way. And even like, where are the caseworkers? Where are the counselors? Where are the people that are intervening with the situation? Because it shouldn't have got to this point. It never should have got to this point. Like, the first time should have been enough. And that's what we need to figure out and need to realize with this Aries energy. Sticking up for yourself the first time you see something, sticking up for yourself the first time you feel off about somebody, learning how to choose yourself first, how to acknowledge yourself. Because we're all self serving, right? You know, especially in this day and age, we all want to survive. We all want to do things for our greater good. But even when the things that we feel like are soothing us in one area, we have to choose ourselves in every area of life, in relationships, at work, with friends, right? Even when things get uncomfortable, even when you might feel a little bit of conflict, you always have to choose yourself first. And when you become a mother, you're last. You have to put your children first, and their needs and their wants and their responsibilities. you know Sorry. So sorry. Come on, God. Come on, God. I'm just kidding. But let's get into it. Did y'all hear that? I'm so sorry. Let me drink some water. Since we just stepped into New York. I didn't even know he was from Brooklyn. She's from the Bronx. He's from Brooklyn. It's a New York love story. They beat on each other. It's a New York love story. Let me stop. But oh my God, y'all, I'm going to New York at the end of October. I'm about to get my, you feel me? I'm about to get my what they call it? What y'all call I'm about to get my butters, and I'm about to be stepping. My cousin hate when I say that. But girl, I'm New York thorough. Okay, let me stop, but let me get into it. Okay, so one thing that I've seen that I thought was really interesting is that Safaree has his Mercury in Gemini, right? Mercury rules over Gemini. Gemini is ruled in Mercury, right? So this is a really, really good aspect for him. Like, even though we joke and we goof at Safaree, like, oh my God, he's so goofy, like he's really smart. He's very strategic. Like, he knows how to place himself in situations so that people don't really see his true character. And I think that he did that very, very well when he was, pursuing Erica, because I know that they met on that TV show. And if you watch, he really, really fought hard to get her, right? Like, she was very standoffish to him because she was like, oh, I've been hurt in love. And he just came in like the perfect gentleman, like, oh, I got you, girl. I understand. You smart, you beautiful, you amazing. And then he got her, right? And with his Mercury in Gemini conjunct her Chiron in Gemini, it's like he can see and he understands how she's been wounded. He understands her secrets. He knows where the bodies are buried, so to say. Like he this is somebody where they can kind of sniff out somebody who's wounded, and they know just the right thing to say. They know the right thing to do. They can understand your psyche so that they can find a way to maneuver and to, get into your life, right? And this can even be somebody that's very understanding of your wounds and what you've gone through and the trials and tribulations that you've encountered in this journey thus far. But this can also be, if somebody would want to use that for their advantage, this can also be someone that could manipulate and utilize their knowledge of your wounds against you, right? Like someone, like you tell somebody your deepest, darkest secrets, and they're like, "Oh my god, that's crazy," that you feel comfortable around them. But if you have an argument or you disagree with them or you just do something that they don't like, they can be like, "Man, remember that time you da 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 da?" And you're like, "Wow." It just completely throws you off. It just completely throws you off. And I mean, his Mars and Gemini is opposite her Uranus in Sag. This could even just like, indicate there was some like hot and cold uh tendencies in their relationship. Like the unpredictable nature of their relationship was very, very alluring to him. Like he was like, "Oh, I gotta get her, I gotta chase her, like she's unattainable, like I gotta do this thing." But then that was the foundation for their relationship, right? Like this unpredictability, this hot and cold, like if you see it, it's like he chased so hard to get her, but then once he got her, he was kind of like, yeah, like, and she was like, and then it just made her chase him, right? It made her chase harder, and it really, really highlighted her own wounds that she has about herself, her own inadequacy wounds that is, deep within her, that could have stemmed from childhood, right? Because Gemini rules over the third house. That's childhood, that's upbringing, that's siblings, right? So she could even have experienced wounds from child. I mean, we all do, but wounds that are specifically very, very deep for her because it's this Gemini ruled Mercury. So something that is deeply embedded into her mind, into her psyche, from upbringing, from childhood, right? The way that she views the world, the way that she perceives the world, the way that she communicates herself, the way that she articulates herself is very, very, there's a wound there, right? And he can see that and he can, use it for his advantage if he wants to, or he can help her out. I feel like I honestly, and we're going to get into that a little bit more. So he has a Mars in Gemini, she has a moon in Gemini. Naturally, this is a very, very compatible aspect. This can be an indication of very heightened sexual relationship between them. Mars is our sex, Mars is our motivation, Mars is our drive, right? He was very driven to like get to her emotions with the moon aspect here. He was very driven to understand her, to comfort her, to come in and swoop in. I mean, he is a Cancer after all. Cancer men, like they can be very, very charming because they're very understanding and aware of the complexities of emotions. They have a closeness to femininity because our emotions, they're more associated with the feminine aspect, with feeling and being still and comforting and nurturing. Like Cancer men or men with Cancer placements, they can understand that. Like they can be very charming to women because it's like, they kind of woo you in like, "Girl, I got you, I understand, life be crazy." And then you be like, "Yeah, nigga." And then they get you, they dog you out. It's not funny. I'm not laughing at her, but I'm just saying, like, sometimes they be doing that. But this could even like indicate, I mean, with this Mars aspect, Mars is the warrior, Mars is the fighter, Mars wants to prove itself, Mars wants to fight. This could even indicate like like this can indicate like passion between them. I'm sure they had a very passionate relationship. They both have fire Venuses, they understand the desires, they understand lust, they understand valuing like passion, they understand valuing action, valuing dedication and drive. Um, and that could be like a precursor of the foundation of the relationship for one another. Like they both were like, yo, this is what I need. I like a person that does this. I like a little fire, I like a little spice. They both like a little razzle dazzle in their relationships. But if not aspected well, which in their case, she has her Saturn in Sagittarius, her Uranus in Sagittarius opposite his Mars. This could indicate like a little bit of like there's tension here, a little bit of tension that could ultimately lead to disagreements, conflicts, even like this could even indicate like crimes of passion, right? Like you're just like passion can very much turn into rage. Like you just have this overwhelming sense of emotion where you're just like, like the heightened tension, like when you're at that moment. That's why like breakup to makeup sex is so like it's so invigorating because it's just like this heightened level of emotion where you're just like like let me not give you all my tea. But yeah, I mean this could even like have arguments at the home, like fights in the home. Um and like I've had this synergy with somebody. Like it can be very, very passionate, like very, very um very passionate, but if not aspected well or circumstances come around or situational circumstances come about, this can be a very, very violent aspect. Um like and when emotions and the desire to fight come into play, it can kind of get a little crazy, and it's in Gemini. So like this could even indicate like really arguing, like, oh, you stupid, da, da, da," like really coming at each other, like saying the nastiest things, like using your words as a weapon in the home. Using your words as weapons in the home to hurt somebody else, to hurt their emotions, to hurt their internal world. Oh, child, child, cheese. And then even, it's so interesting because um Safaree has a Leo Venus and she has her Lilith in Venus. Lilith is like the destructive feminine archetype. Like, she eats babies. She doesn't want to submit. She lives in she lives in the woods. She doesn't want to be in the Garden of Eden. She doesn't want to submit to Adam. She wants to do things on her own. She wants to ride. Like she is like this like crazy, complicated sexual being that does not want to be controlled. But then, because she is like the wild archetype of femininity, this dark femininity, a lot of the time this is the betrayal of women who are just like unkept and who can't keep a man. They're wild, they're untamed, they move from here to here, they can't stay in one place. They don't want to commit, they have commitment issues, blah 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 blah. Like that is Lilith incarnate. And for her to just embody, like her having her Lilith on his Venus, that can make her very, very alluring to him, like very, like almost like this like forbidden fruit figure that he just has to taste. Like he's just like, I can't get enough of it, I can't get it. But notice that Lilith the energy of Lilith is inherently destructive because she is chaotic, she is chaos, she is the female embodiment of chaos. She just does what she wants to do. She has sex with who she wants to do. She leaves, she fights, she does all, like she is just like the destructive feminine archetype. And this could even indicate her being like this very like alluring person, but then she also has like this side of her that is very, very chaotic and you know, it like thwarts his values a little bit, or he's like, I didn't think you was like this. I thought you was this person. And she was like, you knew what it was from the beginning. Like you knew who I was. You knew. You just had this idea. A lot of the time, if you have like Lilith on your rising or something, or you have like a Lilith in your synastry, this is somebody that gets projected onto. Like people project a certain idea or image of who somebody is onto somebody. Like they want to control them. They're like, oh no, you can be this thing. I see, okay, you're a little rough around the edges, but let me let me shine you up. Let me polish you. Let me put you over here. Let you be this trophy wife. But Lilith is like, I don't want to be a trophy wife. I want to do my own thing. Like I want to come and go as I please. And a lot of the time that causes conflict, frustration, um, strife. And even with, he has Pluto in Libra, and that's on her Mars. So even he's not innocent. Nobody's innocent in this situation other than the children. Okay. But this could even indicate like Pluto is power, it's transformation, it's dominance, it's control, it's death, it's rebirth, it's obsession. This could even have like he could even be like having like a weird obsession with her where it's like he hates her, but he doesn't want her to do this, or like he wants to control certain aspects of her. And with her, it's like her Mars, her ambition. Like this could even be like he could control her because she's like an entertainer, right? She has to work with other people. This could even be like him trying to control who she's around, control how she makes money, control her motivations, control her ambitions. Like, you should do this, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't be with this person. And I think for a period, because like Mars and Libra, Virgo Mars, they like submission. They like to be in harmony with people. They like to have relationships. They like to be in relationships. They like other people, and like that can work for them for a while. But she is Scorpio. She is Scorpio. She's a Scorpio, and her sun is conjoined to Pluto. Like her sun is ruled by Pluto. She's already like this very, very polarizing figure. Like she is like the provocateur. Like she is just like she's so interesting because her sun is ruled by Mars, and her Mars is in Libra. So she can also be someone that's very, very like controlling in relationships, and like she wants things to go like this. She wants people to like give her the money. She wants them to like ride for her and give her this undying loyalty, right? But that can also just stem from like a sort of lack in her childhood that I was going to like mention, and we'll come to that. Oh my god. And then he has his Lilith in Scorpio close to her sun. Oh my gosh, like they are interesting. They are just interesting to say the least. This is giving like Cardi B and Offset, where it's like they hate each other, but they love each other, but they can't stand to be with each other, but they can't live without each other. But it's like at some point things just get too chaotic where you have no choice but to just leave. But then there's kids involved, so it's like you necessarily can't leave because you're forever tied to this person when you have a child, and they got two of them kids. Child, I'm sorry, I keep getting texts. Let me see. Yeah, and like they have like opposing Jupiters. They have two completely philosophical ideas about life, about how to approach life, how to like their own perspectives on the world. But what's so interesting is that we're having this full moon in Aries on her Jupiter, and I got a Jupiter in Aries too. So like, I see you, girl. I see you, but mine's in the 12th house, so we don't really see her. But yours, we don't really know what house it is. So okay. But then it's so interesting because she has Jupiter retrograde in Aries. So Jupiter in a woman's chart um is the husband, right? And one of my favorite astrologers, um Charlotte Astrology, she says, and she coined the term like having Jupiter in your chart, not all the time, but a lot of the time, Jupiter retrograde could even indicate like an unhappy marriage, an unfulfilling husband, right? And we've seen that with her. Like we've seen the relationships that she's had. If you go back and you like really like get into Erica Mena's story, it's really sad. Like it's like I understand the way that she acts, but it's still not a justification. It's still not a justification, especially because you got two kids, you have a daughter. What are you trying to allow your daughter to see? What legacy are you going to leave for your daughter? You fighting and screaming and beating people up all the time And I get it. Like it's and it's also like a cultural thing, right? There's so much nuance to humans, to humanity, to human life. So like we can have empathy for people, but it still doesn't give you a reason to continue to act an ass, especially when children are involved. Especially when children are involved. Like she's from the Bronx, like it's cultural, right? Even with him, I feel like he kind of knows to a certain extent. Like it's like even the Cardi B thing. Like you fight, you yell, you're vocal, you're aggressive, you're abrasive. Like that's just East Coast culture, right? But when children are involved, that's when things get dicey. When you're a public figure, there's so many eyes on you, there's so much public opinion. And when you have a known track record, it just makes you doesn't make you have the best look, really. Doesn't make you have the best look. And like I get it. I've done things. I've done really, really bad things in my life, but I'm not sitting here justifying that. I'm not sitting here fighting and yelling at the world and screaming at people and like trying to force people to be this thing to me when I can't even show up and be that thing to myself. Like I have to give myself what I want out of others first and foremost. And if somebody is not giving me what I know that I deserve, move on from them. Go away. I don't have to beat them up and put my hands on them and do all this extra stuff. Like you're a woman. You're like the moment that you realize you're Erica Mena. You don't got to do all this. Even no shade. Even being with Safaree was a come up for him. Like y'all both were like kind of in the same realm, but like in Erica Mena, the name is like yeah, it's the reputation is very chaotic. It's hood, it's Bronx, but but Safaree, like, stop it. And like I know we've all done it, so it's like whatever. We've all been played at a point in time, but it's just like still everything falls on the woman. Everything falls on the woman no matter what. We don't see everything that Safari does, but knowing who you are, knowing what the reputation that you have, Erica, you can't keep doing this. You can't keep doing it. There has to be a moment, Erica, where you sit down and you have to just be still and you have to reflect. Like, Erica. And like I understand because if you really go back and you like really analyze Erica's story, I get it. Like from a young age, she has been groomed. She has been perpetrated by older men with power, with privilege and prestige, power. Hood niggas with money. And they took advantage of her. They took advantage of her. They put their hands on her. She has a child, and it's a lot. But at some point, you have to realize that you will also have a lot to play in your own downfall. Like, yes, Safari can do what he has to do, but this is a shared relationship. And not only this is a shared relationship, this is a reflection of the relationship that you have with yourself. Like Erica runs around like a hurt little girl in a grown woman's body. And I get it. I get it. You've had a lot. You've lived a lot of you lived a lot of lives in your short life, Erica. And I get it. I get it, but you gotta find a way to like navigate this hurt and this pain, or you're going to continue the cycle with your children. And they don't deserve that. They deserve a still, calm mother at peace. But it's like also like get away from all of this. Get away from entertainment. Write a book, sit down, buy a home in the country. Like, you know, you don't have to do all this. You're better than this, Erica. You're better than this. But you have to know that, right? You have to be okay with that. You have to tell yourself that. I can't look in the mirror for you. It's just so unfortunate. It's unfortunate because like she kind of is like one of like the she is kind of tied into like hip hop video vixen royalty. Like she's still around. Other girls, other than like Bernice. I don't really know any of the other like video vixen girls or like Chantel. I don't really know of any of the girls. I'm like, you had so much leverage to like ask for more. And I know she has like a show with Zeus, but I'm like, girl, what the fuck is Zeus? Zeus not even gonna be a thing in 15 years. Like, Erica, stop it. You're acting a mess. You're acting a mess. Acting a mess. Let me see something. Yeah, her North Node's in Pisces, so she's gonna have her nodal return soon. Child, she's gonna have her nodal return soon, like 2025. You gotta get your shit together, Erica. You have to learn how to release control. You have to learn how to surrender, and it's hard because you have all this Plutonian energy. Who are you telling? Who are you telling, girl? I get it. I get it. And it's hard when you have this intensity inside of you, intensity that you've accumulated from the death and transformation and the hurt and the pain and the betrayal that you've experienced throughout life. But you can't keep accumulating. Eventually, you have to let it go. You have to let it go for your own self. And not even for your own self. Now you have children to look for. I mean, you've already had a child. Like, what's going on with that? Like, and now you have a daughter, you know? So it's just like, but Safaree too. Safaree, you know, he got that Chiron in Taurus. Uranus has been in Taurus, so it's been shaking up his sense of security in himself, his financial security. Um, child. Yeah, I mean, her sun is squaring his Venus, her sun is squaring his North Node, her sun is squaring his moon, her Pluto is squaring that. So like they both have like this unnatural, unhealthy connection to power and control. And they try to utilize these tactics on other people when really you just want a sense of control within yourself. Right, like his sun is so crazy because these are the dispositors of his placements. His sun in Cancer is ruled by the moon, and his moon is in Leo, and his moon is in Leo is ruled by his sun is in Cancer. So like naturally, he is just someone that's going to be very selfish, very self-indulgent, wants to think for himself, wants to operate for himself. But when you have children, all that is like off limits. You have to not off limits, but all that is like pushed to the side. Now your sole responsibility and your only focus is on those children. And with this, it's not an actual conjunction because they're like it's an outer sign conjunction. But Erica, she has her south node in Virgo. And Virgo is all about service. It's about servitude. It's about being of service to others, right? And that can kind of get us trapped in a loop of constantly over giving to people who are not deserving of it if we're not careful. And so her North Node is about surrendering, like coming to God. Like Diddy has a North Node in Pisces, and we've seen what happened to him. Like he literally had to be sat down. And for her, I feel like she just needs to sit down for a second, sit down and reflect, sit down and go back to God, sit down and like really do that inner work, that subconscious work. Because ultimately with her North Node there, like she ultimately is supposed to be like a healer of some sort. But I think like she needs to heal herself, be a healer to herself before she can heal others. And like his Jupiter is conjoined to his Saturn in Libra, so naturally like he gets a lot of abundance from other people, his relationships, but this can also come with like a price tag, a price toll. This can also come as like at a cost regarding his relation. But it's also about like having discernment about about your network, about the people that you're around, the relationships that you engage in, because they can come at you quick, right? This can even be like he is somebody that he understands responsibility, and he understands like he needs to expand his network, expand his mind through his relationships. But there's also a price where you have to be very, very diligent and very discerning and have discipline around these relationships that you build. Because yes, you can build with them and you can expand, but it also has to be like, okay, are you doing this in in a sustainable way with that Saturn influence? What are you doing to make this work for you long term? Right? Because now you have this long term situation with somebody that is ultimately toxic. And for her, it's like her south node, it's really, really close. Like it's not an exact conjunction, but with this, it could even play out in her south node, like play her dedication and her service to others is something that she's trying to get away from, right? I don't really know too much about Safaree. I don't really know his backstory. If anybody knows more about him, look into it. I didn't really feel called to. Um, I'm just gonna pull one card before we get out of here. Where am I at? 40 minutes? Blood clot. Okay, I just want to pull one card. Can I have some advice for Erica and Safaree? Advice for Erica and Safaree. Okay, that's so interesting. We have the Four of Wands, and at the bottom of the deck, we have the Justice card. So I feel like the Four of Wands is about celebration. It's about marriage. I think this is like a really, really crucial time. Like this is something that they both have to assess and assert for themselves. This could even indicate like later down the line, they could even get married or they could like rekindle a relationship. But I think they both had to come to this breaking point of like, yeah, we need to do something about this. This is getting serious. Like this could even indicate them coming to a sort of resolution, them coming to a good co-parenting agreement that works on both of their behalf, so that they can come to a very happy, a very fulfilled sense, or even in some sort of reconciliation, that they needed to have this moment to be like, we need to work on this. We need to work together or separately for the betterment of our children's lives. Child, pray for them kids. Pray for the kids. I really do hope that Erica seeks the counseling that she needs. Safaree, you need to have discernment when it comes to dating and when it comes to having certain people in your life. Everyone needs to have discernment in this, but especially, I mean, you are the father of the home. You are supposed to set the tone. You are supposed to be the authoritarian, you know? This falls on the shoulders of both parents, both parties involved. But yeah, y'all, that's it. I just wanted to have a little drive-by convo. Hope y'all been good. Hope y'all have been easy. I don't know. Like for me, whenever like there's like a major transit or something, I feel it really, really heavily like 2 days or like a day before. But like the day of, I'd be chilling. I'd be like, girl, anyway. So like last night I went to a concert and I was like really in my head because it's in my 12th house, it's my subconscious. It's like ways in which I self-sabotage, self-undoing. So like really being in my head sabotages me allowing myself to be present in the moment and to feel abundant in the present moment and to have fun and not to constantly overthink everything or overplan or hyperfixate or hypervisualize on situations that haven't happened yet, because of trauma, because of my upbringing, and learning to work on that, acknowledging that I have struggles in certain areas and loving myself through them, but also working at them and having enough discipline to keep myself away from my triggers. Like last night, I really and like I'm trying to work on my discipline and my self-discipline and my self my regulation, especially because like I get really anxious, and I would like use liquor to kind of just make me a little bit more open, more personable, like less nervous. But when I would drink, then I would like get in the mood of like, okay, let me overdrink because I'm like in this conversation, I'm getting like kind of anxious. So then I would overdrink and then I'm just drunk, child. I was just drunk. Um, and that's caused a lot of issues for me. But now I'm having the courage to just like realize that and work on it. Um, and not mess up any more relationships or abandon myself in the process. So yeah, y'all. But the concert was really fun. Just been working on that, and we'll see how it goes, you guys. I really hope that you're good. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment down below. Are you tired of they bullshit? Because I know I'm tired. We've been constantly in the group chat for years and years and years and years, and it's just like, stop. But yeah, y'all, this is it. Have a great rest of your week. Sorry. Thank you guys. Have a great one. Have a good one. Bye.